things up in some ways, and I was having this very profound spiritual awakening, I still had just so many hypocrisies in my life. Where I just really wasn't still in integrity with myself. I really hadn't fully surrendered. And, then I had something happen with some of my best friends in the world, and they know who they are. And I finally, I had hurt them. And I was done with alcohol. And I have never drank since, which is pretty crazy. And so from there, I decided to really work the steps. I was like, you know what, this has got to work. And I found an amazing community in Washington, D.C., and it changed my life. I was able to create bonds with people just like me, my age, who wanted to be sober and wanted to also find a higher power and really had the same spiritual beliefs or spiritual, wanting that I had. And I truly believe that God gave me all of that to help me get sober, and it all worked perfectly, and then in the midst of that, you have to find something that you can't just go to meetings and that's it, it's, you start that way, but I had been practicing yoga since I was about 18. And at that point of getting sober, I think I was 27 when I got sober, yeah, which is a funny age to get sober. And so I get sober and I'm like, yoga, I miss yoga. And I've been dabbling in it here and there, but I haven't really gone deep. And even in that time of when I was sober for 4 months, I was practicing a ton more and I was meditating a lot more. And so I dived deep into yoga. And yoga, you will find, if you study it and you study the 12 steps, which most people don't, but I did, they are so similar. And, but yoga offers this physical practice that the 12 steps really doesn't. And yoga offers also a outlined way to meditate, and to live as well. And it's just got this amazing doctrine as well, that is a guide for living. And I really connected with it. And so on a deeper and deeper level, and really since then, the universe has made it very clear that is a part of my path, because not only do I love it, but I am able to serve with it. So, and I've been given all of these opportunities to go and train in India, and then I was offered to train with Tommy Rosen and Recovery 2.0 for yoga-informed addiction recovery. And and it was just all these things that just opened the door for me. And, when people ask about their purpose, I'm just it will be made clear, because it's been made clear for me. And, a really big part of my path has been when I found Recovery 2.0, and I didn't say that yet. So because I had been struggling, as I've said on an Instagram story before, I had been struggling with AA, like a lot of people do, with the words, with the white privileged men that created it, and everything is he. And then also I felt very constrained by it in some ways. I started kind of finding these summits online and doing my research, and I found Recovery 2.0, and I pretty much found Nikki Myers with Yoga 12 Step Recovery, and then Tommy Rosen. And they revolutionized the way I look at my recovery to this day. So that's a whole nother topic, but that's how I live, is in line with those principles, really, that the Recovery 2.0 offers, and which is a yoga and 12-step recovery mix. And that is what I have found has worked, because the 12 steps, they are, for me, imperative to my recovery. I've had to learn that lesson so many times, I can't even tell you, that I need to be living in line with that and be doing my steps, because someone like me that has addictive tendencies, and will fall back into addiction very easily. I just need something simple to help me stay on track. And that's saying that is humble, is humbling and necessary for me. But I also needed a movement to move the trauma in my body. I also needed to learn how to meditate, because a part of the 12 steps is meditation and prayer. And I needed an avenue of conscious contact, and yoga does that. It is like literally the guidebook to conscious contact with God. And so one thing I have felt is that people might stay in the addiction frequency because they haven't really kept up with their conscious contact, or they still have a lot of trauma in their body, or they are just very much attuned into a lower frequency still because they are drinking tons of coffee and eating tons of sugar. And nutrition is a huge part of recovery for me and for people who truly want to be recovered. And that's another part that the 12 steps don't offer. So I think it's a melting pot. It's been a melting pot for me. And where I'm at today is I'm living in Fort Worth, Texas. So weird. I am, 2 years and 3 months sober. I am married to the coolest man. And then I have a great relationship with my friends and family. I have tons of friends in recovery. I have a purpose. I have a beginning of a business. I have a connection with a higher power, and I live and I work in keeping that alignment consistently, because I know now how to stay and keep my joy, and before I didn't know how to do that. And that's really amazing. And so yeah, I mean, I'll do more of these about, what I do for recovery for others, and then anything else you guys want to hear. But that's my story. Thank you. Namaste.